She left behind war-torn Kyiv, Ukraine, rows of bombed-out buildings, nights spent in a bomber shelter with her family, the constant hum of air raid sirens. When she landed in Charlotte, North Carolina, she hoped it was the end of that fear. It wasn't. Iryna Zarutska was 23 years old and full of promise. She had survived more than anyone should. She studied art restoration in Kyiv. She volunteered at local animal shelters. She dreamed of becoming a veterinary technician in the United States. Her name in Ukrainian means peaceful, and for a moment, it seemed a fitting title. In August 2022, she and her mother, sister, and younger brother left Ukraine. They arrived in America seeking refuge, safety, and a fresh start. Living with her aunt and uncle in Huntersville, Iryna quickly picked up English, found work in a pizzeria in Charlotte's South End, and enrolled in classes. Friends said she carried a backpack filled with hope and a sketchbook filled with ideas. The night was a Friday, August 22nd, 2025. The shift at the pizzeria ended. Iryna clocked out. She didn't linger. She slid into her seat on the Lynx Blue Line train at Scalybark Station, headphones on, phone in her hand, possibly texting a friend or scrolling through photos. A routine commute home. Unbeknownst to her, someone else was already on board the train, DeCarlos Brown Jr. He had ridden the system for hours, weaving in and out of cars, acting oddly, laughing to himself, muttering. He was 34, with a criminal record stretching back to 2007. Armed robbery, breaking and entering, felony after felony. He entered the car Iryna boarded, sat behind her. They did not know each other. They never spoke. Minutes passed. At around 9:46 p.m., Iryna took her seat. 2 minutes later, surveillance camera footage captured Brown pulling a small folding knife from his hoodie pocket. With no warning, he struck. A violent arc of steel. Iryna slumped. The train car froze. She looked stunned in pain. People stared. Some sat frozen. Others moved toward her. Witnesses later said she remained conscious for nearly a minute. Blood was on the floor. Her phone, still in her hand. The train stopped. Police swarmed. Brown stepped off at East/West Boulevard Station, where he was arrested. The knife was recovered. Iryna was pronounced dead at the scene. Her death was sudden, brutal, seemingly random. In one chilling moment, the peace chief flew across continents to find vanished. Public officials responded. Vi Lyles, the mayor of Charlotte, called the act senseless and tragic. The United States Department of Justice announced federal charges for Brown under laws governing mass transportation system violence. Investigators drilled into his past. 14 prior arrests, untreated schizophrenia, odd 911 calls about chips in his body. Experts would say his case exposed battlegrounds between mental health failings and criminal justice deficiencies. Iryna came here for safety, her uncle said through tears. She didn't deserve this. In Ukraine, citizens followed the story with disbelief. A young woman escaping war ended up killed on a train in America. Advocacy groups demanded reform, security on public transportation, stricter bail rules for repeat offenders. Charlotte's transit system did a review. New cameras deployed, additional security hired. But for some, the change came too late. Her memory didn't fade quietly. On August 31st, a candlelit vigil was held at the station where she died. Murals began appearing across the city. Scientists even named a butterfly species in her honor, Celestrina Iryna, a tiny azure-winged creature, delicate, a reminder that beauty once walked those rails. A bill was introduced and passed in North Carolina, House Bill 307, dubbed Iryna's Law. Changes included tighter pretrial release rules for violent offenders, mandatory mental health evaluations, and the victim's use of public transit as an aggravating factor. The state legislature said her death must not be ignored. Yet even as reforms were drafted, a question lingered. How could this happen? How could a woman board a routine train and never come home? How could a man with such a long criminal history still be free to ride a public system with a knife? The video is haunting. The seat she chose, the attacker behind her, the train lights reflecting red, the silence as the world watched and did little. In the quiet days that followed, her family sat at home in Huntersville, photos around them. Her sister's laughter was missing. Her mother's eyes dimmed. A life of promise cut short. A war survivor died far from home. This was not a case of just one more statistic. It was a call-out, a mirror held up to society's assumptions. Safety isn't guaranteed. Borders don't always save you. And sometimes violence doesn't announce itself. It just happens. If you ride transit tomorrow, look around. See the faces. Imagine you could freeze time for a second and intervene. Because Iryna's death reminds us, the difference between safe and vulnerable may be thinner than we think. Her story ripple effect reaches beyond Charlotte. It reaches into halls of justice, echoing in reform debates and legislative chambers. It reaches into simple places, homes where someone never returned. This is Mason, and this was the story of Iryna Zarutska, a young woman whose peace was betrayed, whose journey ended too soon. If this story moved you, share it, not for clicks, for awareness. Subscribe, stay alert, and never assume safety is silent.